Let me just start with explaining these workshops that what where 17, 18 years ago when I started EFT, I immediately started workshops for wine cravings, chocolate cravings, crisp cravings. And I remember having like 30, 40 people on these workshops, all borrowing benefits from each other. And it soon got into people that were saying, okay, well, I might have got rid of my wine craving last week, but now I feel empty and alone. And there's always an underlining reason to why someone would drink or eat chocolate or crisp. So we quickly got into emotional and mental workshops. And we found such breakthrough in borrowing benefits, which was somebody is suffering with something. We use the beautiful technique EFT to tap and to work with that person. And as everybody's tapping with them, they're all breaking through in their areas and stilling the stress chemicals and having real insights and going to places in their mind and heart where they haven't gone before on that particular problem. And so I love workshops. I believe they are brilliant. And with the vast growth of mental and emotional ill health at the moment, not enough therapists, not enough money, not enough anything. I think these workshops can really bless lots and lots of people but I think the important thing is consistency and showing up. That's what we're finding a lot at the moment. People committing to something, showing up and doing it regularly.
I think there's more to workshops in that. Yeah, we're learning EFT,
Mm.
but we're also connecting with other people who often will say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad. I thought I was the only one that felt like that." And
Yeah.
so it almost normalizes their experience because guess what? We're all human. We all have emotions. We all struggle with emotional intensity. We all have moments where we're stressed and worried and upset and angry. And
Mm.
so it just, I think it just makes people realize that it's all right that I've got these emotions. I don't have to live with the discomfort of them. And I'm not the only one that's going through this experience.
This is a way to join a workshop and watch how it works on areas you probably would never have reached through counseling and psychotherapy and things like that. There's always a place for each therapy and coaching and everything, but EFT
Right.
reaches those deep, dark places that you just won't go. So I love that, that they witness processing. Sometimes if you're out there and you're watching this video and you're still in an unsafe situation, you can regulate your nervous system, but it's not going to heal to the point of a normal regulated system if you're still in unsafety, because you need that fight, flight, and freeze to be in the situation you're in. But if you've removed yourself from unsafety and in reality you're safe, but your body feels unsafe, that's what we're talking about, regulating a nervous system, because it feels like you are hyper vigilant all the time because your body's just looking for the trouble you've always experienced.
It's a great way to take responsibility for our own feelings and understand how we have the responsibility to regulate ourselves. I think oftentimes when we don't have this tool, we're looking externally from ourselves at other people in order to maintain their behavior so that we don't get triggered. Whereas when we have these tools for ourselves, we understand how we have our own, we can take that agency back into ourselves and say, I have the power to regulate my nervous system. So how my day goes or how I feel in this moment isn't dependent on everybody's behavior around me, but I can regulate myself. And that takes a lot of that's really empowering to know and to understand and to have the tools to feel like what your experience can be more in your hands and it's not just dependent on what happens to you.
I'd love to share a really lovely little example where I was tapping actually with a friend. She was really stressed. I think the people around her were like getting the brunt of it because she was so highly strung. And then this one evening, she calls me up and she's like, Rosie, 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 you'll never guess what happened. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's just screamed at someone or, she's lost a temper with someone. And she said, oh, I was plating up dinner and my son dropped a plate on the kitchen floor and they got a stone floor. And I was bracing myself thinking, oh gosh, she's going to tell me that she screamed at her son. I said, okay. And what happened? And she said, well, I just paused for a minute and I just looked at my son and then my son looked at me because he thought I was going to shout at him. And it was weird. We just had this moment where we just looked at each other and I didn't react. And I was a bit surprised that I didn't react. And he was a bit surprised that I didn't react. And then in the end, I just said, oh, just sweep it up so the dog doesn't walk in it. And that was the end of it. So I'm really confused. So I'm ringing you up. So, so I now call that with my one-to-one clients. I now refer to it as the dropping the plate moment.
What are you planning on doing with these people that are going to join?
I think certainly the first few sessions that we do, I would really love to just teach people just the simple, basic techniques that they can learn within a few minutes, and then they can duplicate themselves at home in their everyday life. And like Sandra was saying earlier, it just gives them that personal empowerment, knowing that there's an internal locus of control, not an external one. And so they can have an impact on helping themselves to feel better. And the techniques are so simple, like they're so easy and simple to learn. And there are lots of different ones that we can use. So if there's a certain one that you're not that keen on, try a different one until you find your favorite or the one that you like best. And then you can reuse that technique over and over and over again, and it will work every time. If there's an event that you want to work on, but you don't particularly want to share what the event was, or maybe you want to keep it confidential, you want to keep it private, you don't want everybody else to know it. Claire, you know this, a lot of the stuff that I process with you, Claire was my EFT practitioner many years ago. I was able to process lots of stuff. To this day, Claire, you don't even know what those events were. It's very possible for you to effectively process a bothersome event without me, Sandra, Claire, or anybody else in the group ever knowing what that event was.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're wondering how in the world does that happen, you'll just have to come to the workshop and find out.